welcome to Legal Affairs. My name is Diamond Liddy, and I'm the public defender for the 19th Judicial Circuit. We are going to be talking about a very unique in all the world program. I don't think, and I didn't ask you before the show started, but this isn't a franchise kind of program, is it? It is pretty much unique to Port St. Lucie Police Department. Is that correct or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And we are very lucky to have Master Sergeant Rick Schichtel with us. How are you,
I'm good.
Sergeant? Okay.
Good morning.
And then Tracy Diaz. She is the Port St. Lucie Police Department's juvenile coordinator. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit. You have been with Port St. Lucie Police Department for 100 years. We were talking
29 years.
29 years. And as we were saying, there are a lot of changes. A lot of changes. But all good ones.
Yes.
A lot of innovative programs have come from your department, and of course you've gotten bigger. Gosh, when you started, how many officers?
There were about 35 when I started.
And now there are
240
Oh
about.
my gosh, okay. And Tracy, you've been with the department about 2 years?
Yes.
Okay, and is this your first stint with law enforcement, or what's your background before this?
I have a background, I have a master's degree in social work, and I've worked for mental health agencies.
Okay,
and
prior to
hospitals.
this?
Yes.
Okay, in this area, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about the great program called Shoplifting.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the way shoplifting
Yeah.
came about, our chief decided that we had a shoplifting problem, and that typically in law enforcement, shoplifting is something that you just deal with. It's there, it's always going to be there, and you don't really think too much about reducing it.
Right.
Well, our chief decided that we need to do whatever we can to reduce it.
Right.
And shoplifting is something that everybody pays for, because everything that's stolen increases the price of your merchandise.
Sure.
It's kind of a gateway into greater types of theft. So if we can stop it at an early age, at an early stage, then it's better for everybody.
Well, and after so many times, it becomes a felony.
Yes, after 3 convictions,
Right.
it becomes a felony. So, and it was a type of thing we needed to attack it on multiple fronts. And one of the things about shoplifting is that the gauge for whether you're doing good against shoplifting isn't very accurate, because it depends on how many arrests are being made. And if you've got an active loss prevention agent, you're going to have more arrests. But there's a lot of shoplifting that's not even reported because they're unaware of it. So we dug a little deeper and started looking at the inventory loss at all the different stores, and mainly we've been partnering with Walmart. Because
Yeah, I was going to say, what?
Yeah, they volunteered to be part of our project, and we started looking at the percentage of loss. And when we started this, like for example, our Gatlin Walmart, the loss was about 1.25%. A year ago, and now the loss, I think for the last year, was like 0.95%.
Oh my goodness.
So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings for the store, which is passed down to the consumer. So our gauge that we're using, which is a little deeper than just making arrests, is looking to show that we're actually making a difference.
So if you want to shop at Walmart, you need to shop in the Port St. Lucie one, because their prices should be low. No,
I
I'm
don't
just
know
kidding.
if that translates,
I'm kidding. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's no question.
So, and some of the other things we've been doing is having officers doing random patrols, foot patrols, getting out of their car, park the car right out front so people see it, and doing foot patrols. And while they're doing those patrols, they're hitting the areas in the store where we're recognizing that we've got a theft problem. Cosmetics, sporting goods, electronics, those type of areas. And depends on the store. Certain stores are having different theft issues.
Sure.
So the region's stores that they're doing the patrols in, we're letting the officers know where the thefts are occurring, what type of thefts, and they're going to tailor the patrols to that. And I think that's got a lot to do with the reductions. And the last key to this has been juveniles, because we recognize the fact that a lot of the shoplifting is committed by juveniles.
Sure.
And we wanted to get in early and prevent that, and that's where Tracy comes in and the stoplifting program.
Okay, and so Tracy, tell us, this stoplifting, Port St. Lucie Police Department stoplifting program targets specifically juveniles?
Yes, we are specifically targeting the 7th grade population as well as freshmen in high school for the stoplifting presentation that we conduct in schools.
Okay, so tell us, what is this program? What exactly does it entail?
Well, the school resource officers present the program, and basically what the program is showing that there is security cameras everywhere.
Right.
Wherever you go in the
There's
stores.
cameras everywhere, period, anymore. Goodness.
As well as it's showing them what the long-term consequences of committing retail theft could cause for them, such as when they go apply to colleges.
Sure.
It will say, not have you ever been convicted, have you ever been arrested?
Right.
There's also the military. A lot of our kids, they will say, I want to join the military. And the military also looks at stuff like that as well.
Sure.
And we're really trying to prevent juveniles from having that criminal record from affecting their long-term goals in the future.
So basically this program's main component, if you will, is to go within the school system and do these presentations?
Yes.
Okay, is it a movie? Do you
It's about
go
a 20-minute presentation.
Okay, a movie or what?
It's a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay.
But we also include actual videos that we have from subjects that have committed retail theft that we show
in our
them.
area?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And we show them how they're on camera, and the camera is watching them, it's recording them, putting the merchandise in their pocket, trying to conceal the merchandise. And that has had a huge impact on juveniles when we talk to them about it. They say, I never realized that we were on camera.
Yeah, that we could really get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm curious, and either one of you can answer this. Now you're saying that you only target 7th graders, or you do target other grades?
The 7th grade, as well as freshmen in high school.
Okay, okay.
That we're trying to target. Because we look at, I think, the stats, and we saw that was about the age group of juvenile arrest.
Really? I'm surprised. How old are they when they're in 7th grade?
7th grade would be about
12, 13.
12, and then high school, freshmen, 14, 15.
Wow. And that's the main age group where they begin shoplifting is what you found? Wow. See, I would have thought it was older than that. So you do your presentation for 20 minutes, and what? Then there's questions and answers?
There's questions and answers. We then ask them to take a stoplifting pledge
Oh, okay.
that they're to sign, have their parents sign. They bring it back to the police department.
And basically, what does it say?
That they will not embarrass my family and friends, not embarrass myself, not harm my future, and limit potential success, and not harm the community, and not ask for items that they can't afford, and learn to cope
Right.
with the challenges that they're facing.
Who put this together?
We had a crime prevention specialist that,
That works for Port St. Lucie?
Yes.
Wow.
and she created the program.
All components? I mean, you didn't take from any place else? You just...
We looked at a lot of the research.
Right.
And we incorporated that into the presentation so we could educate the students on that. And then we just put it together in a PowerPoint presentation, and we started promoting it in the schools.
Now, do you only do it in the school system in Port St. Lucie, or are you...
Actually, we're bringing it
Branching
into
out.
some of the schools in Fort Pierce.
Okay,
A lot of
good.
our youth go to Fort Pierce Central High
Sure.
School, Lincoln Park Academy, so we're looking into branching out in the springtime.
Have all the schools really embraced this, or...
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you have the presentation, then questions and answers, the pledge. What else?
Well, when they bring back the pledge, we offer them a coupon for like a free sub or a free food item. So that's really motivating the kids. And then whichever school with the most shoplifting pledges that are returned back, they're put in for a drawing for an Xbox. And one student
Oh.
from that school, they'll win
That'll
the
do
Xbox.
it. Yeah.
So it's created a lot of excitement, with kids bringing it back to us at the police department.
So this has been going on now for approximately 2 years, Tracy?
We're going on right now, I think about 15 months,
Right.
starting next year. I think we did our first presentation in May of 2015.
Okay. What have you changed since your first presentation? Anything?
Well, our retail theft numbers are definitely going down, so we're going to have to update the presentation.
Okay. Well, okay, Sergeant, tell me, you say it's hard, and I never thought of it like that, but I can see where it would be hard to gauge your success or whatever.
Right.
But so you have looked at Walmart, and you definitely, the one you targeted has gone down.
Yes.
Any other stats that you know of? I mean, has your arrest rate for juvenile, I assume petty theft, has that dropped in the last year? Or
I was told that we had a real significant reduction between October 1st and November 1st.
of this year?
In fact, I don't think we had any juvenile arrests during that period.
Really?
From the stats from September of 2015 to August of 2016, we had a 61.7% decrease.
Wow. Oh, now that's incredible. No, good job.
One of the things we're doing is incorporating the school resource officer from the school
Right.
to do the presentation, because that's their likely, first contact with law enforcement.
Right.
Is that school resource officer, and that we're trying to build a bond with them, and they're giving them the presentation and also saying, if you do this, I'm the guy that's going to be placing
Right.
an arrest. So
Right.
let's avoid it. Let's prevent it.
Right. Okay. So in the presentation, you show them actual videos of I assume they're videos of children that are
Not necessarily.
adults and children. Okay. And what else is a component of that video?
We show them applications to colleges, to the military, to employment applications.
Oh, I see. To show them that you're not just saying, "Hey, you're going to have a hard time." That it's
We're
okay.
actually showing them like actual applications, like to the United States Armed Forces. If they wanted to get, say, if they're looking for a job at a fast food restaurant right now, we show the questions that's asked. Have you ever been arrested?
Right. Right. Well, and I can speak because I look at them all the time. If you want to be a lawyer, or you want to be a doctor, all those things. And now, because the employment arena in those areas especially with lawyers, have been flooded. I mean, God forbid you've been in any trouble in your past. Your background check is going to take a long time. And you may get through college, get through law school, pass the bar, none of which are easy. But then you can't even get sworn in because of your background.
Right. One thing, the videos, we also show some videos to express to them how technical and how advanced the systems are. Some of the videos are set up to where the camera is catching a full shot of their face, and they can be identified later, even if they get away. And another video, we show an example where a cell phone can be zoomed in on, and you can read a text message on the cell phone from the camera in the ceiling. And a lot of the kids have no idea that they're
I
that
didn't know
advanced,
that.
and that just the quality of the video is that good. that there's very little that they can do inside of a store and not be detected.
Well, you know, that's funny because so often on the news you'll see, you know, videos of in convenience stores and things like that of a robbery, you know, whatever. And they're always poor quality. You can't tell who it is. You got some idea, whatever. But so that I can see where that would lend itself to, especially to a juvenile. Well, you know, as long as I wear a hoodie and whatever, they're never going to see my face and know who the heck it is. But,
Right.
you know, quite the contrary. I guess. So Walmart, I guess. What other stores have you worked with?
Bell's,
Okay.
Ross, Home Goods, you know, a lot of your chain stores.
Right, and all of
Publix.
those have really good videos.
Yeah,
huh?
well, when you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory every year, it's
Right.
a good investment to upgrade your camera system.
Yeah. Now, I know Port St. Lucie has always been on the forefront of working with juveniles, trying to initiate programs to help them on the forefront so that they don't continue a cycle of crime. Tracy, what else do you, you know, through the years, I've had Port St. Lucie Police Department on several times for your unique programs and initiatives, juvenile initiatives you've taken. But I know things ebb and flow, things are successful, and then, you know, the interest wanes or there's a new problem to focus on. What other programs does Port St. Lucie Police Department have?
We still have our juvenile restorative program
Okay,
that we
which
have
is?
for juvenile offenders.
Okay.
And that's also, too, we saw that like over half of our participants in our juvenile program were committing retail theft.
Right, right.
And we still have that. We have that every Tuesday where we hear cases of first-time offenders. We have our peer
Right.
panel that mentor the juveniles.
Right.
I also play an active role at the police department in helping assist with coordinating services for juveniles and their families that are needing that extra help.
Right.
So we can get them in the appropriate programs. We can do like a mental health referral. We can refer for counseling. We can help them address their truancy or delinquency issues.
Right, right.
So we try to really get proactive with the juvenile. If a juvenile is running away, I will reach out to the family and I will talk to them about what type of referrals and what type of services can we get for them
Right.
to help the parent and the child.
Now explain, please, if you will, the juvenile restorative program. If an officer catches a juvenile shoplifting, what alternatives do you have as law
Well, if
enforcement?
they're a first-time offender, rather
Okay.
than making an arrest, they can issue a juvenile a notice to appear
Right.
in diversion.
Okay.
And it's got to be, there's some stipulations. They have to
Yeah, tell us
admit,
about
they have to
this.
admit the offense.
Right.
And they have to agree to participate in the program, and also their parents have to participate.
Right.
And they
Which
have to
is
agree to
great.
participate. And what we found is the sanctions that they get from their peers are usually more strict
Yeah.
and timely.
Right.
They get the sanctions in a much more timely manner, and the quicker they get their sanctions, the more it seems like they help to get them on the right track.
Well, research has shown that in the juvenile arena for sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, we hold our peer review, and if they successfully complete the program, then they avoid getting into the juvenile system. And our recidivism rate is extremely low of the juveniles that
That go through
well, the ones that complete the program successfully, it's down around what, 3%?
Yes.
Oh wow.
It's pretty low.
As opposed to 68%, 70%. Yeah.
And, you know, if a juvenile doesn't complete the program, then the case gets sent to the state attorney's office.
Right, right.
And they direct file on it. But we've got a real good success rate with the kids that do stick it out and complete the whole program.
Well, the restorative justice program's been in effect for how many years now?
Well, probably about 15.
I was going to say, so you
Yeah.
really can tout your numbers.
We've had, I think, about 2,500 kids go through the program.
Yeah, which is great.
Phenomenal.
Which is great. As an officer, Rick, what? Let's back up a minute. Juvenile commits a petty theft. The officer definitely can refer that child to the restorative justice program.
Yes.
But the officer doesn't have to, do they? Or do they?
Well, we've got a policy
Oh,
where
do
it's,
you?
it's preferred that if they qualify for the program, and they,
i.e.
now
have-
the officer has discretion as to whether or not it's an appropriate referral or not. But if it's an appropriate referral and the officer believes so, and the parents take it seriously and the juvenile takes it seriously, we don't want anybody that's going to enter the program that's not going to successfully complete it.
Well, now, how does the officer figure that out at the time?
I would hope good intuition.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, they're going to get a feel for whether
Well-
they take it seriously and they realize that they're getting a chance
Right.
and to make the best of it rather than just, you know, not take it seriously.
Well, obviously, the officer can find out if the juvenile has a prior, you know, any
Yes,
previous
yes.
criminal history on the spot. But then so the officer waits till the parents come down, everyone's together to refer the child to the restorative justice system, or they
I believe the parent part of it can be done over the phone, but
Okay.
they have to be turned over to a parent
But
anyway.
it basically happens pretty much at the time of the offense.
Yes.
On scene, yes.
Okay. And certainly if a child, and gosh, boy, it seems to be a hot topic lately about something that seems so basic to all of us, but obviously is not to many people, especially in lower income situations and where there's lack of education in the family, et cetera, is how to talk to law enforcement because of the shootings, the different incidences that have occurred. That seems to be something that they're doing with children now. You know, how to talk to law enforcement if you get stopped, if you get arrested, so you don't get in trouble or hurt or whatever, when, you know, it may not be your fault or it may be your fault. But certainly, if a juvenile is nasty or disrespectful to the law enforcement officer and says, well, I don't care what you do or whatever, then the officer doesn't have to refer.
Well, it like I said before,
It's a policy that you try to.
whether it's an appropriate referral or not, an officer's got to get a feel for whether
Right.
they believe that this subject is a good candidate for the program.
Right. Well, and you know, let's face it, if the child is disrespectful and nasty to law enforcement, once he runs the record, he's probably going to find out that the child has a prior record and he wouldn't qualify anyway.
Chances are.
Yeah.
I think the key too is that the juvenile is going to have to admit guilt to participate in the program.
Right, right.
And if they're treating the officer that way, they're not likely to admit the guilt. So they probably won't get a chance in the program.
What, and we're almost out of time. I always say this because it always goes so fast. We got a few minutes though. What do you see the trend now? Obviously, you know, you're working with children all the time. What is the biggest issue, stumbling? Is it drugs? Is it lack of parental authority and control? Is it the school system? You know, is it all of the above? What
I'd
kind
say
of sense
it's a
do you have?
combination. We
Yeah.
see different, all those different problems that contribute.
And you really feel that not only the school system has embraced this, but that you've made a difference. And do you see any more steps obviously this program is wildly successful. I mean, what do you see, you know, how you want you've got to expand this. You've got to make it, you know.
I think the school board really has embraced it.
Okay.
They've been allowing us to do our presentations.
Right.
They've been really receptive to it. We just did one at Port St. Lucie High the other day, and the assistant principal in charge of the freshman class was extremely motivated in getting the kids to participate with the pledges and things.
Right.
You know, she made it clear that she wants them to come in number one and get the most pledges. And
Right.
You know,
Win
so
the
I-
Xbox.
yeah, I think that, you know, the reception from the schools has been phenomenal.
Great. Now, do both of you, as far as your roles, actual physical roles in this, do both of you go to every presentation when the school resource officer is making the presentation, or
We try to.
Okay. Okay, so you, the school resource officers, they are, they have drank the Kool-Aid on this as well and seen the success, or?
Well, the officer we just had do a presentation the other day at Port St. Lucie High. First time he ever gave the presentation, and he did really well.
Wow.
But he was able to give, he just transferred from Road Patrol and was able to give
Oh,
more of a
great.
hands-on, you know, version of what happens on a retail theft arrest. So he was the subject matter expert on the arrest itself
Right.
and how, you know, prevention is the key. And you know, because 2 weeks ago he was making these arrests and reviewing the videos, and so he was able to really express to the kids just how technical and how advanced it is.
Right. Oh no, that's terrific. Now, your approach, and I had not thought of it, is so certainly you have to impress upon the children the ramifications of wrongdoing and getting arrested and those kinds of things. But I think the approach is terrific in the sense that you're really saying, you know, the chances of you getting caught doing this are really high, and let's show you why. You know, it's not just us telling you.
Right.
And I think that really sends a message. Well, to wrap it up, now you said there's all you have all kinds of help or whatever for the kids and the parents, and the number they would call to get that help, Tracy, do they call you, or?
They can call me at the
Okay.
police department, and I can, you know, make any referrals that we have available.
Okay, and that number is?
871-5001.
Okay, and they can ask for you?
Yes.
Or the sergeant?
They can ask for me, yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both. This has
Thank
been
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
keep up the great work.